Alright, well, we are back with more Half-Life Alyx. We did Chapter 1. We listened to all the developer commentary, which was pretty enlightening. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot more substantial than I kind of thought. And hopefully we get to hear more of it in this chapter. Now, what I did realize is that last time we got captured by the Combine and we got put inside this truck. And I realized that when I saved, there was a developer commentary disc right in front of us. So if I put that on, we're probably going to drown out the voices of the Combine in the truck, but we really aren't missing much. So when we spawn in, I'm going to go ahead and put that on.
Damn it, where's my father?
In order to limit the possibility of motion sickness that could be induced by moving the player in a vehicle, we initially wrote this scene to have Alyx wake up after the van had already crashed. Players found this underwhelming, however, since the game seemed to be needlessly holding back an exciting moment that they could have experienced for themselves. Addressing this meant that we had to tackle the technical problems of moving the player comfortably in the vehicle. In this van, and in the train at the end of the map, you'll notice that the outside world is only visible through small windows. These outside views are necessary to provide motion parallax, but the small window size ensures that the player's field of view is always dominated by the vehicle interior, which is naturally in the player's own frame of reference. This greatly reduces the occurrence of motion sickness. Aside from the parallax of the outside world, we use animated lighting and careful sound design to produce the effect of riding in a vehicle.
Okay, yeah, dealing with a player's motion sickness. Probably a pretty smart idea. So, yeah, that I think I missed it, but that flying thing dropped a bomb inside the car.
You have been in an accident. Take the headset.
Alyx, you there? You've got to get moving.
Russell, I've been in an accident.
I know! I caused it, so technically not an accident. You've got to get moving.
Wait, where's Dad?
He's fine. Follow the drone.
Oh, I can't just crawl out myself.
So, Dad's okay, right?
Yeah, well, no. To be honest, he's in huge trouble.
But,
They've still got him. He was in a separate transport.
and you saved me?
Well, yes. I had no way of knowing who was in which van, so yes, the result was that I saved you.
Do we know where they're taking him?
Criminal holding, and then, when they realize he's Eli Vance, to Nova Prospect. But I'm already working on a plan to get him back. You're close to my lab. Keep following the drone. We'll figure out what to do.
Frog out! Oh. Alright. So, yeah, so this is, if you go on the Steam, I don't know what it's called, like, the Steam, home VR selection. This is one of the places that it gives you a demo of the game, where you can just kind of walk around, and there's not really any enemies, but you can still walk around the area, which I believe I recorded.
Where the last map was focused on conveying a lot of information about the world state to the player, this map is where we need to start the player's larger quest. That means the player must leave this map with an understanding of what's happened to Eli, and what they're going to do about it. The player also needs to meet Russel, so they have a face behind all the radio dialogue throughout the game. Finally, we need the player to collect the gravity gloves and the pistol and learn how to use them both. This is a daunting list. From experience, we know that if we cram all that into a single scene, players won't be able to remember more than a couple highlights. So this map's purpose is essentially narrative pacing. We need to draw apart the required events, separating them with enough time and space that players could ingest and remember them. At the same time, we're a little under the gun. Playtesting showed us that by now, some players have been playing for 30 minutes, and they're wondering when they're going to see some enemies.
Yeah, not for a while. Are you going to say something first? No? Okay. Let's go ahead and do DevCom 3.
One of the first steps the writing team took on this map was to flesh out a scene between Russel and Alyx that covered all the dialogue we needed. Due to the fact the player is meeting Russel for the first time, in that there are a significant number of in-fiction events that Alyx and Russel need to talk about, the scene ended up containing a lot of dialogue. We knew there was no way we could build a scene that long without boring the player, and the most important elements would be lost in the noise. One of the first tools we used to address this was the introduction of Russel's drone. It allowed us to take chunks of the dialogue from that original scene and deliver them throughout the area preceding the scene. This meant the scene itself could skip over the in-fiction preliminaries and get right to the critical gold delivery.
Oh, I don't think I was supposed to be up there. Open up this door? No. Yeah, that's true. We've never seen Russel in this
Russel,
game. Oh, or
what
in
did you
any
guys
game.
find back there?
Well, that's the crazy thing. I don't know. Just blurry pictures of a building.
The Citadel?
No, something else. And whatever it is, they're going to kill anybody who saw it. And anybody who knows anybody who saw it. Which means us and your dad.
Russell, just hang on. I'm almost there.
In a building. Got a javelin this. Alright. Disc. Why can't I ever throw anything correctly? I'm gonna stop on my couch here. Alright, well, whatever. Questioning somebody over there. Oh, there he is. I was like, what's he doing there? Oh, look, the tutorial for how to shut doors. Very clever, Valve. Very clever. Got some red paint. If I could throw this red paint over there, that would be great, actually. Oh, they're gone! No! Okay. Alright. Oh. Oh, did he drop that for us? I think he did. Pacing 3.
In addition to delivering narrative at a consumable pace, this map needed to continue communicating the state of the world outside of the quarantine zone. We also wanted players to understand when Half-Life Alyx takes place in the larger Half-Life timeline, and to see for themselves the massive scale of the Citadel under construction. The power of the Combine is embodied in their indifference towards humanity. They've conquered Earth with little effort and are now plundering it for their own ends. They put a modicum of effort into their propaganda, but it's ultimately uncaring. Later in Half-Life 2, we see Breen's attempts to talk to humanity with more seriousness, but it's unclear whether that directive comes from the Combine or if it's just Breen's attempts to be useful to them. Meanwhile, the Combine construction is brutally efficient. The Citadel's pervasive feeder cables make no attempt to fit into the lives of the residents as the Combine drains the city of its power. Within this playground, a nostalgic nod to Half-Life 2, this enormous cable has been run right through the mural on the wall, demonstrating the Combine's total lack of interest in the history behind the city.
I think I broke it. I didn't think you could break this thing. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Typical. An older kid comes to the park and they just break all the toys for the younger kids. Typical. We drank the blood of the people, but the people were on drugs. And now I am a wizard. Get this off my head.
Alyx, everything cut out for a second. I lost the headset video feed. Can you see my drone? Is it okay?
Sure. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute.
Can I be the drone? Aw. I'm surprised that thing doesn't, like, do anything, considering the fact that, like, it looks right at you. I always forget that you can mantle, like, just by holding up and jumping. Or not just by holding up and see automatically goes over stuff. I always forget that that's a thing that you can do. Alright. Yep, there's the secret button.
Alyx, great. Okay, let's... Wait, my drone's okay, right?
Nope, it exploded. I'm fine, by the way.
Right, good, well, that's the main.
Is there a thing in here? Okay, yeah, there
Russell.
is.
They've got Dad.
I know. This is bad. They're gonna find out what he knows, and then... Yeah, they're gonna kill him.
Oh, God.
But, the good news is, we've got something they don't.
Which is?
My plan to get him back.
Great. Let's hear it.
Now, pretty soon they're gonna realize that your dad is not gonna talk. And when that happens, he's off to have his brain sucked out.
Russell.
Potentially. Maybe not, though. I mean, they could just drill into his...
Stop.
Oh, yeah, still your dad. Right, well, what they will do is take him by train from here. This is Eli. To Nova Prospect.
And if he gets on that train, that's it, right?
Not necessarily. Grab something that represents us.
I don't know, what would represent us? How about this? This looks pretty good. Alright, let's not use those. My game crashed because I realized that the graphics were on ultra high. So let's say
Just grab anything.
we are the teacup.
Okay, that's you.
I thought you said us.
Well, one of us, me, will have to stay here for this match to work.
All right, fair enough.
Just outside, there's a second train that also leads out of City 17 through the quarantine zone.
Okay.
Both trains intersect here at Fairview Junction. You take your train, get there before this train, and hack into the controls. That'll let me take over the system. Train comes to a halt, you deal with the combine situation, and we get your dad back.
Sounds good. Where's the train taking?
Out the back, through the yard. It's decommissioned, but I think I can hack into its controls. Oh, and you get some of your Russels on the way out.
Russell's?
The gloves, Alyx, you know, the gravity gloves. I have a few sets through there. We can calibrate them out by the ship.
Got it.
We can do this, Alyx. You got that, didn't you? I said we can do it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah, we are.
I'm with you every step of the way.
It's kind of cool that Sid mentioned that the fact that he can see what we're doing because I guess to the headset that he gave us, and you can tell because on the TV there we are. He can see our moves, but we have some developer commentary to listen to now.
Russel's laboratory is the first time the player is in the same room as another character, and it highlights one of the main challenges we face when designing choreographed scenes in VR, keeping the player and characters out of each other's space. In previous Half-Life games, we could always forcefully move the player if we really needed them out of the way. We made several attempts at finding a similar solution in VR, but found that it often made players feel deeply uncomfortable or disoriented. So instead, we designed these spaces to allow for a natural separation between the player and our characters. Where natural separators couldn't exist, we had to restrict players from moving into the character's space, removing that limitation as soon as the character had moved out of the way. Another challenge was balancing how often characters respond to player actions while delivering important narrative information. In early experiments, we allowed characters to stop mid-sentence, which allowed them to respond immediately to the player, and then continue on with their dialogue. While technically straightforward, this was incredibly difficult to execute in animation and dialogue without feeling unnatural. The combination of custom reactions necessary to cover the range of possible player interaction and the resulting return to narrative dialogue quickly multiplied out of control. Eventually, we settled on a solution where we allowed only a minimum of interactions during the important narrative delivery sections, and a wider range of responses to more complex reactions after the scene has completed. In the case of Russell, we layer subtle head facing and natural eye contact on top of his performance while he is talking with Alyx. Then, after the scene, when he is typing at the computer, he will respond to players trying to touch him or objects being thrown around.
As we can see, the Russel's really useful something electronic lightweight levitating, I don't know, stuff Oh, there's where this thing is in the game. I didn't know where this was. Because I keep seeing this in mods and I didn't know where it was in the game. I guess it was just on the side of this refrigerator. But I guess it loses its magnetism once you pick it up. Russell typing.
Right from our earliest experiments in VR, we learned that players expect a high level of audio fidelity, even from minute interactions, particularly when the sounds are meant to correspond to clearly observable visuals. For instance, in one of our prior games, it may have been acceptable to use a generic sequence of computer key sounds when Russell was typing. In VR, however, we know that a player can observe the animations very closely, and even put their head right next to Russell's keyboard if they choose. In this case, players would notice a lack of one-to-one correspondence between the key press animation and sound. For Half-Life Alyx, we authored a set of individual key press sounds to be driven by animation. For example, as Russell's fingers animate to press a key, one of these key press sounds is played, resulting in precise synchronization of the animation and sound.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Is there anything in the Raptors? I noticed that that up there, that's a hackable thing. That is something that denotes something that you can hack. I wonder if there's like some sort of Easter egg if you can like get here with the hacking tools or something, or maybe like spawn them in and like get up there. I mean, you can't jump on the table, so I'm wondering what that is. All right, well let's go ahead and get out of here. I think we spent enough time here. This is a pretty cool room too. Oh, blue screen of death. Very nice. Alright, time to get the Russels. Alright. I can't get anything in this room? Okay, well, the game is running much better now because it somehow left it on like ultra graphics, and I definitely did not set it that way. So now it's running much better. I don't know why it defaulted to like ultra graphics. That was weird. But luckily, that didn't really seem to be too much of a problem. Take that off? No? Okay.
Alright, you know how this goes. There should be a bunch of junk down there. Aim at something with your hand open. Yep, you're tethered. Make a grip. Registered. Now flick your wrist to bring it in. You're on it. Try again. Just point at something with your hand to target.
Alright, he's just going to give us a tutorial, so let's listen to this.
One frustration players may encounter in VR is having to physically bend down or reach out for objects in the virtual world, especially if they have limited real-world space. A common solution for this is to provide a way to bring objects to the player, instead of forcing the player to go to them. We knew this would be an important feature in Half-Life Alyx, with its sprawling levels and players' desire to explore every corner of the world. We didn't want this mechanic to feel too gamey or magical, so we decided to integrate it into the fiction of the game by making it a feature of the gravity gloves, which are a natural precursor to the gravity gun of Half-Life 2. This allowed us to present the mechanic as a real physical action that's enabled by a piece of in-fiction technology. To emphasize the physicality that is unique to the medium of VR, we used a physical gesture to activate the pull instead of a button press, and then required the player to actually catch the object instead of automatically attaching it to the hand. This made the mechanic feel more natural and rooted in the fiction of the game's universe, while allowing the player to feel powerful and accomplished.
I think it's on the hood of that car there.
Yes, I understand, Russell. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think he was actually going to go ahead and throw the gun down, because it was a pretty funny line.
I think it's on the hood of that car there.
Yeah, I can see it. So, yeah, we kind of missed a bit of a dialogue, but that's okay. You can see that in other playthroughs. In this playthrough, we are listening to developer commentary.
Oh, almost forgot. Guns need ammo. Here you go.
Hey, nice.
Right, heading back to the con room.
Alright, here's the last one.
When a player pulls an object with the gravity gloves, we use the game's physics engine to apply a launch force to that object with a trajectory that is partially influenced by the direction of the player's pull gesture. We set the object's launch velocity to result in a standard flight time from pull to catch, so the player can develop a rhythm that eventually becomes automatic. We want the object to arrive at the hand as reliably as possible, so after the initial launch, we continually apply small impulse forces along the trajectory, represented by the white arrows. Those impulses help counter gravity and compensate for collisions with obstacles along the way, while continuously steering the object toward the hand, which is itself a moving target. A generous catch range and subtle haptic feedback when the object enters that range virtually guarantees that it will end up in the player's hand every time, even if their attention is focused elsewhere. One other benefit of implementing this with physics is that we didn't need to do custom handling for an object's size, mass, or inertia, and it automatically compensated for the non-standard gravity that players encounter inside the vault at the end of the game.
Okay. I don't know what these things are. Oh, I see. That was only... Okay, because I was wondering what those vectors and lines were all about, and I'm guessing that's because they kind of oh geez, what happened there? That became active while I was listening to that audio log, so that's kind of cool that they actually turn that on for you to see while you're doing the audio log thing. Get out of here. I'm not going to deal with Noam Chomsky over there because let's be honest, I really don't want to deal with taking him through the game. That's not for me, thanks. However, we have a gun and we are at the end of the level, and the level became Nintendo 64 levels of quality, so yeah, let's just go ahead and move on.
Oh, you took care of that lock then. Good, great. Did have the key for it, but should have given you that. That's on me.
Okay. Oh yeah. Search for ammo. Release in your backpack. So all you gotta do is kind of put your hand over your back, and it gets put inside your backpack, and you're good to go.
All right, here we go. Next stop, Fairview Junction.
Thanks, Russell.
And good luck, Alyx. Goodbye. Obviously, just to let you know, I am still here, though.
I know.
Okay, so Chapter 2 is the Quarantine Zone. I'm going to save it here, but I don't think I'm going to load from here. The reason is because the mods I have, for so the resin detector and the more resin mods, I think at least one of them advises that you actually start a new game starting from Chapter 2, because that's when resin actually starts to show up in the game, and you actually have a way to fight enemies. So I think I'm probably going to do that next time. So I think I'm going to just load the game from Chapter 2, and we'll continue on. So yeah, I think that's going to probably do it for me for now. Please leave a comment if you enjoyed the video. I enjoy getting comments, so if you want to leave one, I would greatly appreciate it. So until then, I will see you later.